And welcome back to the Peppy podcast. This is Archie.
This is Anil, and
And
no, go ahead. We were both jumping at this one.
yeah, um, just kind of a free ball, just talk whatever, just general gaming, I guess. So actually, on our last podcast, we were talking about music a little bit.
hmm
Um, I kind of wanted to delve more into that. Uh, so you're a big believer that music is definitely a big contributor to video games, or not a big, but big part of the experience.
Well, yeah. I mean, even if you look at well, yes. Short answer, yes. But to elaborate a little bit more, you know, the music in a game can like provide. Well, it can add onto the theme, of course. It can give the player emotions that maybe you know um, that maybe just the text of the game or the action games that just can't convey. I mean, of course, those are stronger to it. If you get what I'm trying to say, um, like God, I've kind of wandered off here, but the idea is that music can definitely supplant and add on to the emotional part of the game. There, that's what I'm trying to say.
Right. So it can
Yeah.
definitely draw emotions. It can set the mood, or it
hmm
can also bring on particular themes, like certain characters that show up. Then you'll know that it's oh, it was her that did this or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but in specifically, what game do you think is probably the most probably most inspiring? I guess. Uh,
You mean like inspiring as in like it makes you feel like a great person because I play that game?
No. Well,
You mean you mean
sure.
you mean the music? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
hmm, that's kind of a tough one. I mean, I guess I don't know if I can answer that. I guess because I don't think I've ever felt a game that made me like. And to reiterate, you're asking me, it's making this right. What game has inspired me, like based on just the music and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I can't say that there's been a game that's like done that for me. I mean, a lot of games have had great music. I mean, Mega Man 1 and 2, the ones that I played, Castlevania, those had really great music that kind of fit the theme, but like I don't think I could think of one that really like God, now I gotta think about it, that really inspired me.
Okay.
I mean, I guess just to give you a quick answer, like some of the Zelda games, like Skyward Sword, the music like kind of really, I think, fit the game very well. But I guess that's all I really could say. I don't think any game that really inspired like me in any real way. So maybe the Zelda games.
Oh wow. Really?
Yeah, I mean,
What particularly about Zelda that just inspires you at all, or
wow.
maybe makes it much more? I'm thinking nostalgia is the main thing, or is there something else there?
Well, no, no. Okay, if we look at Skyward Sword, for example, and it's not nostalgia. The Zelda games, even though they've kind of done renditions of the main theme, they do have distinct music. Skyward Sword, for example, the one that no one likes apparently, has some amazing music to it. And like I guess given the scenes that go on with the game, the not Zelda's theme, the I can't remember the title of the damn song, the one that's Zelda's theme backward. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Ballad of the Goddess. I believe that's it. Do you know?
Okay.
Have you heard that one? Yes.
Probably if it was recycled from the previous ones, maybe.
Okay, here. Should I play on my phone just so you can hear a second of it?
If sure.
Okay. Hopefully we don't get DMCA by Nintendo or something, right?
Right.
Wait, is that possible?
I don't know. I don't think it matters. As long
Okay.
as we're not really monetizing off these, I'm pretty sure we'll be fine.
Okay. Can you hear it?
But oh, go ahead.
Can you hear it?
Kinda.
All right, hold on. It's gonna get louder. You hear it better now?
I think it's cutting in and out.
Okay. Look at Ballad of the Goddess. Sorry. Um,
Okay.
but that paired along with the game setting kind of just fits it in. This idea of like protecting Zelda, making this promise that he makes this pledge to her. I think in the middle of the game that he will protect her, as she is like the descendant of Hylia. I think that I believe that theme was being played over it, and I may be wrong, but that definitely fit that scenario. It actually was kind of a sweet, serene sort of moment. So, no, I won't say that inspired me to do anything, but I think that was a good. You know, the music really accentuated that feeling.
Mm, right. Okay.
Now, now, if you don't mind me saying, I would just say there are tons of games with amazing music. You know, fucking not even just going based on like the older I'm sorry, Zelda, like freaking Contra, man. The music in that game, because it's high paced, it's just rocking music, you know, that kind of gets you in that setting of just running in and gunning down. So, you know, music can do a lot of different things. Yeah, sorry, I'm just ruining this conversation, but just saying there's a lot of great music out
Right. Yeah. I mean, personally, for me, I think one of the better ones were Final Fantasy IX.
there.
Um, it has its dramatic points, so really a lot of it was also orchestral. Um,
Hmm.
and it's just a classic feeling. I've always been in band, and I think that the way that they set the music with the scene and exactly the way the song sounds definitely accentuates certain parts of the emotion and stuff like that, and it just
Hmm.
makes things a lot more memorable. Um, and yeah, it also incites certain nostalgia. I'll go back to Final Fantasy X, where it's in the beginning. The video game, was it the OST for Mega Man X?
Hmm.
The Would you remember how Mega Man X's theme went?
No, you know what? I think I don't think I've ever played that game.
Oh, well then, well it's that
I'm
one.
looking it up right now. I'm looking it up right now, but as you talk, go ahead.
It's a very basic, like 3 tone jingle, and every time I hear that little 3 tone jingle, it just brings me back. Oh wow, that game came out like 20 or so years ago. Like what the hell?
Yeah,
Um,
is it? It's just Mega Man X theme, right?
Possibly.
Okay. Well, 'cause it's Super Nintendo, right? And that's the
Hmm.
one. Okay, I'm listening to it. Right.
Uh, but yeah,
Yeah. No, I can see that just in the cursory 10 seconds I've heard.
yeah.
As I kind of clicked in the middle.
It's very
Um.
distinct. It's
Mhm.
very to the point, and you kind of already once you get the story of it all, it very fits the beginning of how it all starts. How he has nothing, and then he finds all his parts and gets upgraded to beat all the Mavericks. Yada yada yada. But yeah,
Yeah, you brought up a good point, and I understand what you're saying. I was gonna say you brought up a good point about battle themes. Oh, well, you didn't say battle themes, but when you brought up Final Fantasy, IX, I was thinking of the battle theme from that game. And there are a lot of great JRPGs which have amazing battle themes, which kind of get you in the mood to do the combat, right? Um, Final Fantasy, I don't remember. Seven had a decent one. At 10, what?
well, 7, 8, and 9 they all had recycled
Were
music.
they
It
recycled?
was
Okay,
it was the same not conductor, was it director, but he pretty much took it all and just improved it overall. Aside
okay.
from a few other things for new characters.
You mean recycled from like previous Final Fantasies?
Yes.
Okay, see, I wouldn't know that because I've only played seven because I'm a pleb. But well, I guess that at least sounds true that the themes were good from that. Grandia 2 had a pretty good battle. Did you play that one?
I did play it, but I don't see that music was actually very bland to me.
Really? I thought
I
that was
like I know when there's gonna be a battle because it's the hyped up music, but
hmm.
otherwise there was nothing that stuck out.
Uh, okay, differing opinions. I don't know why. Maybe that is nostalgia, which is hitting me, but I remember that had some pretty good music. The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky has pretty good battle theme music. Sophisticated Fight, that's what it's called. And
Mm-hmm.
when I go running, whatever, I was pretty upbeat and it's really good. The I guess not the sequels, but the other story tier, which is Trails of Cold Steel, has a really good battle theme. And whoever I don't know the person who's doing it, but they know how to get battle themes. Um, are there any ones that have stood out to you aside from JR? Have been any ones that kind of stand out for you?
No, it's really hard because I think that kind of goes into this next topic that I was planning to go to,
Hmm.
story.
Hmm.
Because I think you really have to be submerged into the story or be really committed to what's going on. Otherwise, you
Hmm.
don't really care, and it's just you pressing or tapping a button. Especially in JRPGs, you're just attacking over and over again. It's just I really have to really get into who I'm playing as and why do I even care if this person lives or dies. Like for Final Fantasy X specifically, I did not care for Tidus. He was just an annoying prick, or not a prick, but he's just. I don't recall why I hated him, but it was just the guy that can do no wrong and just try to stay positive the whole time.
Yeah, someone need to run him over with a.
um,
Um,
but I didn't care for the character. The music was good, but that's just because I can actually see some of the music be separate from the game, and I'll like it.
right, and you bring up a good point. In order to have a good story, you have to have characters. You have to like. I don't want to say like. Well, I guess like is a term, but that you can invest in. I guess
Yeah, there has to be a driving force to the game, or yeah, the
yeah,
story.
yeah. Because like I feel like 10 was. This is just me. I felt like 10 was more about Yuna than anything. But maybe I know it's saying it's Titus's story, but like I always felt it was more about Yuna. Maybe it's just because I didn't like Titus and I wish the game
Yeah,
was more
same,
about
right?
someone else. Like Orin would have been just the best character. No
Yeah,
man,
he should have gotten his own game actually.
they should
I
no, they
would
should
have
just
loved to have his own like a whole story for just for him.
no, they should have just told the game from his perspective. That would have been better. No, think about it. Like Titus, he can still be in the game, but he'd just be that annoying side character no one likes.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I'm trying to think of like not I guess not easy answers, but I'm trying to think of other games that have stories that have invested for me. And I've played so many, and I guess The Witcher. Say what you will about the games, I felt pretty invested with the character in that one. Maybe it's because I played all the I played the games early on. And well, actually, it is because I played the games early on. But I really felt invested with Geralt because I guess the choices that you could make in game, they're my. I felt like he was like my character, kind of. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I
Mhm.
made the choices to him, and I can understand how he feels. And actually, on that, you gonna say something?
No, I was actually gonna bring up another game.
Oh, go ahead.
Story outweighing gameplay. I think that Telltale, the first game, Walking Dead.
Uh
Um, that I could actually relate right away. It
huh.
was an older man who just happened to, is the midst of the whole horde or not zombie apocalypse, and you just find this little girl, and her
Hmm.
parents are nowhere to be found. I'm invested because like I would want to take care of that girl, right?
Right.
And just from there, I was like, okay, I like these guys. I already know what I would want to do, and that's exactly what he did. And
Right.
and then you make your choices, and in general, the gameplay is nothing. Like I mean, there's a few quick time events, but the story on its own is what kept me going through it.
Well, and I think with Telltale games, that's what they have to get you on because it's just like reading a choose your own adventure book. I mean, there's no like real gameplay per se.
Yeah, but the only problem I have is that I think I've told you before, like there is no difference for the most part of who or what your actions do does not really affect the actual story.
Right. And actually, if you don't mind me diverting a little bit, I can think of a game where this didn't work, and that was BioShock Infinite. Did you play that one?
No, I think I stopped at the first one actually.
Yeah. Well, the third one has do you know the premise like about Elizabeth? Like she's this character in the game. Do you know anything about that?
I don't remember Elizabeth.
Okay, well, anyway, in BioShock Infinite, like the crux of the game is you have a partner named Elizabeth, who is like an NPC who you work with, and she's integral to the plot and the story of the game. And like they do their hardest to make you care about her, but like I think the writing in that game, the story is so fucking stupid. And it's not because I didn't understand it. I fucking understand the story, but I don't think the writers who wrote it understand anything about quantum mechanics or anything about how to tell a story properly because they don't know how to do anything. But they failed like in making one the main. Well, I don't know if I don't know. I would say that the main character was someone I could invest in, but like they just don't know how to write characters. I think,
Mhm.
and and then like the gameplay even itself was pretty mundane and boring, and I think just all those things molded at making a game that just was not good at all. And the first one you played, right? That was actually pretty good,
It was
right?
dark and
Or
scary.
it's funny because like people say the game is scary. I never thought the game was scary at all.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
know. I
it
mean,
was like in the beginning. I think I was still in high school when the first one came out, right?
Yeah, yeah, something like that time.
Like
Yeah.
during that time, I had a really shitty computer, and it was just super dark, and I couldn't really change the settings because yeah, I really had a bad computer.
Hmm.
And wait, no, it wasn't. Was it on Xbox first?
I think I don't know. I think it. God, fuck. It's sad I don't remember. I
Yeah,
think it
me
might have
neither.
been on Xbox first, but maybe the game was just so bad. I don't remember much about it. But
Yeah.
um, wait,
I
but yeah, okay. Well, I know it did come out on Xbox. That's for sure. I don't know if what it came
don't
out on.
remember. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it was either just really dark, and I was just not used to that. And even in like Resident Evil, a lot of things were in plain view, so I wouldn't be too scared.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So for me, Bioshock, I kind of just went through it. I didn't care for the story. It was just go find the girl, do this, this, and this, and then yeah, that was it.
Yeah, yeah. I just Bioshock and me started, but yeah, there are a lot of games which do it well, and there are a lot of games that don't do it well. Infinite is one of them. I'm trying to think of anything else that significantly did a story well, because out of all the games that I've played, there are a lot, in my opinion, which have done story well. And actually, yeah, I can just contradict myself. So I guess just to be straight, there are
Yeah.
some games. Yeah, there are
Pokemon.
some games.
How about Pokemon?
No, well, I haven't played the newer ones.
Uh-huh.
Um, the newer ones, are they story heavy? I hope
I don't
not.
think so, but I mean the well, my whole thing is story outweigh gameplay, and I actually think that for Pokemon, it was very balanced. Like,
Really?
I mean,
Which one?
the first one, just the first one. So red and blue.
Yeah, what story was there? I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole,
You
but like,
come from this one town and you have an adversary, and you guys are trying to overdo, or what is it? Do better than the other one. I am not
compete
really,
against each
yeah.
other, outdo each other.
My God. And try to be the very best, blah blah blah. And it
It's
was a
not
very
it's not
basic gameplay.
right, but it's not. I mean, I agree with everything, but I guess I wouldn't say the story. To me, then like it's more of an afterthought to me. I mean, do you think it was like really well fleshed out story or?
No, no, it was balanced. Like as in, it wasn't a bad story, it wasn't bad gameplay, and it just worked out well.
Right. I mean, I guess I can agree with the simplicity of the gameplay. It's more like rock paper scissors for the most part, unless you were psychic and then you fucked up everything. If I remember properly, or Ghost. I think Ghost or Psychic was OP in R&B, if I remember properly.
I don't remember it being OP.
It was
Yeah,
a long time ago,
yeah,
but
I
I
don't.
mean, yeah, Janina. But yeah. I mean, I guess I don't remember the story being anything like just you just leave home at 10 and you run around and that was about it. I mean, I think there was probably more story in like in the Pokemon Snap than I think in the Red and Blue games. Okay, all right. I mean, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's because it was limited technology time. You probably couldn't put too much in with everything else we were trying to fit in the game. But yeah, I guess I never thought Pokemon was a good story. But again, maybe there was more to it than I remember.
Yeah, maybe. No, I really don't think it was that much more. It was just me and the adversary and trying to do better. You run into some bug catchers. Hey, you want to play some Pokemon, or you want to catch some of this? Hey, guess what? I got a Metapod. Oh, that sucks, man. I'm sorry. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Even on the note, who the fuck goes
yeah.
into battle with the Metapod? What the fuck?
But like, because it's such a bland story, you kind of make your own story to it. Is
Well, I
also
think,
part of it.
yeah, I think that, and I was gonna say that too. I think that's what they wanted to do. They wanted you to kind of put yourself in that situation, which I can appreciate that. And Fallout games kind of, well, the last ones have been trying to use that niche for a while, Bethesda and stuff like that, putting yourself in it, so they don't have to do a lot of work. And I can appreciate that for certain games. And so maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know, but yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm. Um, but okay. So back to the main or the main topic I kind of brought up, but kind of just went off in tangents. But do you think story outweigh gameplay and make a great game, or can gameplay just outweigh story and you just can play a really great game?
I think it can. And I think in that regard,
So
if
which
you
one are you going with?
Oh, no, hold on. Repeat the choices again. I want to make sure I have this right. So
Well,
you
it's
said,
just back and forth. So story outweigh gameplay, or gameplay outweigh story, or maybe you have a preference.
oh no, I think you can go both ways, honestly. We see examples of this all the time. If you look at, if I'm answering a question properly, with like Nintendo games, there was like almost no story in a lot of those games. It was just gameplay, a lot of them, because like you get this little blurb in the beginning of the game, and you just play the game. And some of those games could be amazingly. Look at Contra. Contra, for example, I brought it up before. There's almost no in the American version of the game. There's almost I don't remember the manual saying anything. Well, actually, I don't remember reading the manual in my life, but the game is simple. Red Falcon hits Galuga Island, and you go in there and charge. There's almost no story involved, but the gameplay is enough to keep the game going, which is great. But then there are other games on Nintendo which have a balance of both. Ninja Gaiden, for example, I think is one of the first instances of cutscenes in a video game. Has amazing gameplay, frustrating gameplay, I should say, but amazing, and a pretty good story. So I think given the game and the technology, you can have a balance of both is possible, and
Okay.
some games do it better than the other.
Is there a preference that you have?
Oh, for me, and God,
Mm-hmm.
I probably skip this part of the. No, I don't have a preference. I would just hope. I would just hope for balance. I would just hope a game could do both at the same time. I know it's a lot to ask for. I mean, coding is. I mean, not coding. Making a game is pretty difficult. In all aspects, especially nowadays, right? I mean, AAA game development is like the development teams are like populations of small countries.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy, and they hired big name writers for these games, and they still can't make fucking good games. But I would hope that. See, this is a complex answer I'm going to give you, and I don't mean to, but like, depending on the type of game, I can understand if it's lacking in one way or the other. Does that like if it's for example a shoot 'em up, for example, I don't expect story to be a big thing in a shoot 'em up. I expect the gameplay to be tight, for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's an RPG, a computer RPG, JRPG, whatever, I think for that one, story has to be well done, because that's what RPGs kind of have always traditionally been. They've been story based, right?
Right.
And combat in RPGs, and again, this is complex because you have RPGs which don't follow the turn-based stuff like JRPGs generally. Gameplay isn't going to be that difficult. The only gameplay you have aside from setting up your character and equipping is the actual fighting, which is just click, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in certain genres, I can understand. I think it gets a little more muddled when we hit like third-person shooters and stuff. That's when you have to get the balance, because you know in a third person shooter, it's more kinetic gameplay. You actually having to worry about your shooting or whatever, or timing or your jumps.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you have to have that balance. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think only one game that I can think of that is fairly balanced but also very deep is Kingdom
Uh-huh.
Hearts. That
And I haven't played
story
that.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, I
Because
think you mentioned that to me. Yeah.
they it sounds like they keep like, well, there are certain things like the Heartless, and then they introduce nobodies, and nobodies and Heartless kind of make a person, and then I don't know what they're gonna do with the third one and what they've done with some of the ones that are made offshore. But
Hmm.
just from the main story and how supposedly the main character may be a Heartless and the nobody is another character. It's a very jumbled up sort of story. But also, I think the gameplay is great.
Hmm.
It's I don't it's not a shoot 'em up, but it's a, well, I still consider it a hack and slash
Hmm.
RPG, and action
Okay.
adventure. It's a good game.
Hey, actually, this is off topic, but let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Would you consider Legend of Zelda all the games to be an RPG?
Legend of Zelda? You're
Yeah.
saying, oh, yes,
Really? And why?
because you're playing a role.
So that means any game then essentially is an RPG.
Sure.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to see what you thought, because I had a friend whose girlfriend was telling me that Zelda's an RPG,
Yeah.
and I told her, to me that doesn't make any sense, because any game technically is an RPG, right? Because you're
Hmm.
always taking the role. And then we got into talk about, like, what do you call it? What do you call it? Like a JRPG? She's like, oh, those are RPGs, and I was like, but then you're making the like to me an RPG. I guess what I'm trying to say is Zelda to me is not an RPG. Like what makes an RPG in this sense, it's like a game where you have like a leveling system, and it's like a like it's all stat based. You know what I'm trying to say? And
Hmm.
Zelda to me is not stat based. It's no leveling. It's based on like I want to say like your player movement and stuff like that, and then items. I don't know.
Right. I think it's more of an action RPG if you were to actually really categorize it.
But then any game is an RPG, right?
Right.
So
And
why
it becomes
even?
more of a, well, you're just putting a label to it.
Yes, I guess yeah. So that's what I feel like the label is superfluous to be honest. I would say it's an action adventure game. I wouldn't call it dungeon crawl. Dungeon crawlers, but
Definitely
to
not
me,
a dungeon crawler. Or
yeah. But I was just
yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. Depending on the game you're saying, but I'm saying like Zelda. I was so weird because I had Zelda as an RPG. Like when I think RPG, like D&D, like D&D is based on roles and stuff like that. Like RPGs kind of were.
Hmm.
Your damage is based on like the game calculating it, right? So like that to me is an RPG. But anyway, sorry, let me get too off topic. But that's a whole discussion in itself, right there.
You're right. But
Yeah.
actually, I think we can stop the conversation there.
Hmm.
Just doing a little short video for today.
Hmm.
But anyways, yeah, that should be it. That's the end of the Peppy podcast. This is Archie.
And this is Anil going to say, if you have a topic to talk about, please put in the comments below because we definitely need comments. Please do that. Please. I
My
we
God, how desperate
yeah,
could you be?
we're extremely desperate. Please give us one comment.
No, he's speaking for himself. Anyways, bye.
See you later. Bye.